Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about the Canvas course navigation, how to customize your course navigation, and how to use the redirect tool. This presentation is sponsored by the Faculty Development Center and Online Education and Training Center at Cal State University Fullerton. Today I'm going to be talking about how to control your course navigation menu, which items to activate or inactivate, and how to share your office hours link in your course using a redirect tool. First, your course navigation are the links that students have access to within your course. You can choose which areas students can access by controlling your course navigation. Why might we want to disable some navigation features? Students have access to all of your designer areas in your course unless you disable them. For example, I like to disable pages, files, rubrics, ShareStream, outcomes, collaborations, conferences, or any other course navigation item that I won't be using in that course. This way, it simplifies the design and students only access areas that I wish for them to access. It also reduces confusion for students because many of them get lost with having too many things or too many items in too many places on their Canvas courses. So let's see how we can control our course navigation on Canvas. Once you're logged into Canvas, select the course that you would like to control the course navigation for. I'm going to use my sandbox as an example. You'll notice on the left-hand side, there's a lot of items here. Many of these I don't need for my course and I'm not going to use. I would like to make sure that students have access to the areas that are useful to them and that they don't have access to areas that I want to access. You'll notice in the course navigation, there's an eyeball with a slash through it. This means that students cannot view it. Sometimes it also means that there's not content yet. This is true for the announcements and discussions as well. If I want to control what shows up in my course navigation system, I'm going to click on Settings. I want to make sure I'm in the third tab called Navigation. Once I'm in the Navigation tab, I can drag and drop anything I don't want from the top to the bottom. Anything in the upper white area will be visible to students once you publish your course. Anything in the lower part will not be visible and is inactive for students. Choosing what you want students to have access to is a very personal decision. I really challenge you to think about what you want for your course and what you want students to access. Remove anything that you won't be using in your course. I won't be using Dropbox, Folio, Badges, Studio. The accessibility report I will use for myself but not my students, so I'll leave that there. I don't take attendance because I teach completely online. I'm not going to be using the Google Drive, collaborations, or conferences in my courses either. Notice that I drag and drop them below, but they still appear on my navigation. In order to save it and to let Canvas know that I'm finished, I'll have to click the Save button. Once you click the Save button, you'll notice that your course navigation will change. Let's continue and look at what we might want to disable. Assignments would be great. It will create a chronological list of assignments for students, but they're already going to see that in their syllabus and their calendar, so that would be repeated material for them. So I'm going to remove it. What about files? I don't want students to see all of the files in my course, so I'm also going to deactivate it. I don't want students to see all of the pages and content I create. I want to organize those in modules either by theme or by week, so I'm going to disable it as well. Instead of dragging and dropping, you also have the option to click these three buttons and click Disable, which will also move it down to the bottom. Outcomes I won't be using. Rubrics I will be using, but I will be attaching them to assignments, and I don't want students to see my entire collection of rubrics, so I'm going to deactivate it for students. I can still use that area and develop things within it, but I'm not going to allow students to rummage through all of the rubrics for the course. Instead, I want them to focus on specific rubrics attached to specific assignments in their weekly modules. What about the quizzes area? Some faculty really like to keep this activated so students can come in and click on the quiz and see the list of quizzes in chronological order for easy access. I prefer to have students access quizzes either from their calendar or in their modules, so I'm going to choose to deactivate it. Finally, what about discussions? If you want students to be able to easily come back and forth to discussions throughout the week, you might want to leave this enabled. Let's leave it enabled for now. You can also choose what order these items go in. For example, maybe I want grades at the bottom. The accessibility report will not be visible to students, so it's up to you where you place it. Modules are something that's very important for students. That's where they'll get all of their content and material. So I'm going to move it to the top. Announcements are something that are also important, so I'd like to leave it at the top. The syllabus is an area where students can see a list of all of their course assignments. So I think that might be useful to them, and I'm going to move it to the top as well. Once you're happy with the order that your items are in, you'll scroll down to the bottom and click Save. Once you've clicked Save, you'll notice that your course navigation has changed. At the top, you'll see all of the items that I've selected, which match the items in my navigation. 3 of them still have an I with a slash through it. This is because there's no material in those areas yet. The rest at the bottom are areas in which I'm going to develop items for my course, such as quizzes, assignments, files, etc. However, students will not have access to these areas. For example, if I click on Home and I go to the top right corner to Student View, I'll click the glasses for the Student View, and I'll notice that these are the only tabs that students can see. Once I leave Student View, I can see all of my Builder tabs again. Remember, even though we've activated announcements, modules, and discussions, there's no content there at the moment, so there's nothing to show students. So Canvas is going to remove it in Student View until you've added your first assignment, your first module, or your first discussion. Now, let's talk about the redirect tool and how to customize your course navigation. We can go back to Settings in our course. Then we're going to go to the Apps tab and search for the redirect tool. It looks like this. Next, we're going to click Add the app. We'll put the name that we want for the course link that's going to show up in our course navigation. We'll type in the URL that we want it to take us to, and we'll make sure we click Show in Course Navigation. Next, we'll activate it just like we did before in the navigations area, so we can enable it and click Save. Next, your link will appear in your course navigation on your course. So let's see how this is done in Canvas. Now that we're back in my sandbox, I'm going to make a special customized link. First, I'm going to click on Settings. Next, I'm going to make sure I'm in the Apps tab. That's the 4th tab at the top. And I'm going to search for the redirect tool. Once I find the redirect tool, I'll click on it, and I'll click the blue button, Add App. Once I click on Add App, I can type in a name, Zoom Office Hours link, and I can put in a URL for my Zoom office hours. Next, I want to make sure I click on Show in Course Navigation. Finally, I'm going to click Add App. You'll notice that it hasn't shown up in my course navigation yet. This is because I need to enable it in navigation. Next, I'll go to the Navigations tab, and I still don't see it here, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh and tell Canvas I did something new. Next, I'll see it in the navigation bar, and I can move it up or down wherever I'd like it to appear for students in my course navigation. Don't forget, you have to click Save for it to make any changes. Now, when students enter my course, they'll be able to click on Zoom Office Hours, which will redirect them to my Office Hours link. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been presented to you by the FSS in cooperation with the FDC and OET here at Cal State Fullerton. Have a wonderful day.